Just like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom is extremely open-ended, meaning that no two players will have the same experience. But there are some things that happen to everyone. So here's 35 things everyone has done in Tears of the Kingdom. Starting off, everyone has tried to get to Hyrule Castle right off the bat, probably even before getting the glider, only to find out that Zonai wings have a time limit before they despawn. Speaking of Zonai devices, everyone has made some sort of a death machine that certainly goes against multiple Geneva suggestions. Disabling Yunobo is something that is required if you want to enjoy using your Ultra Hand creations in any way, shape, or form. He just sits there, rotating, and will sometimes even kick you off. Comment down below if you hate or love Yunobo. Getting sick of breaking these rocks. There's no way anyone can gain even a small amount of enjoyment from this impossibly hideous task. You've gone back to see the Shrine of Resurrection, or at least where it used to be, in an attempt to either see if it's still there, or to try to get the Sheikah Slate back or the Master Cycle. You've accidentally fused something that you wanted to put on your sword onto your shield, or vice versa. Or you fused a valuable item onto the wrong weapon. I can't be the only one who feels completely out of place walking around Gerudo Town without a disguise on. But that just might be all the time I spent in Breath of the Wild speaking, searching for Koroks when you first got the game. And once you found your first one, you were either extremely excited or angry that you would be spending hours collecting hundreds of their turds. Everyone has gotten sick of the shrines that take away all your gear at some point. No matter how much fun they might be, after a bit of being robbed over and over, it starts to get a bit irritating. You've also definitely gotten sick of all of the blessing shrines that seem to populate over half of the shrines in this game. Going to Link's house, just to find out that he got completely finessed and now it's supposedly Zelda's house. Trying to pet dogs. After the massive disappointment that filled everyone's hearts when they couldn't pet dogs in Breath of the Wild, we hoped that Nintendo would fix their grievous mistake in Tears of the Kingdom, only to find out that we've been completely betrayed. Losing everything and absolutely crapping yourself when you run into Gloom Hands for the first time seems to be an extremely common experience throughout all players. Getting scared as well when running into these moving trees, though probably not as bad as when you ran into the Gloom Hands. You've also no doubt tried to attack one of the friendly constructs. I mean, you fight the other type, so why can't you fight these? Everyone's gone to one of these falling rocks that randomly spawn, thinking that it would take you way up into a new Sky Island, just for it to lead absolutely nowhere. Tulin has blown all your items a mile away from you at some point or another while you've been trying to pick them up, whether that be monster parts, valuable items, Zonai devices, or milk. You've spent a fair amount of time cutting grass. Also, cutting grass in this game has gotten a massive upgrade with the addition of the two-handed sword and spear. You can mow at least 120% more grass. Results may vary. Getting absolutely destroyed by a Gleeok on your first encounter is an experience shared by every player. No one has any clue on how to fight these when they first run into them and die an embarrassing amount of times. Torturing helpless Koroks is a staple of Tears of the Kingdom, and Nintendo certainly regrets giving us free reign over these small, helpless creatures. Let's just consider this payback for not letting us pet dogs. Making a flying machine or a race car is an essential experience for anyone who's touched this game for any amount of time. After the final Geoglyph memory, I can't have been the only one who picked up every single one of those silent princesses the moment it was over. Having to search up a shrine location, a guide, or even a tutorial is something you've done at one point or another. Forgetting to cook food and going to heal in the middle of a fight, just to realize that you have absolutely nothing. So you either eat an ungodly amount of apples or just die. Duping items. You've either done it a ton or you haven't done it at all. There's no in between. Using the gloom weapons underground and then realizing your massive mistake. No turning back now, I guess. Using a sapphire sword to bridge across water because of how much you hate swimming. Or even making an entire boat just to prevent having to swim. Everyone's made a goblin glider or a hover bike at one point or another to help you get somewhere, even though the goblin glider is obviously supreme. Died while falling from the Sky Islands. Sometimes you just forget that you've been falling because it takes so long. And once you remember, it's already too late. Everyone's died some super embarrassingly dumb death before, whether that's by getting blown off the starting islands before you had a paraglider, or dying to cold because you completely forgot about it. There's no way you haven't had to use Zonai charges to refuel your batteries, either to keep flying upwards, or just because you were too lazy to wait for it to recharge. And finally, everyone has a favorite weapon fuse, whether that be the bouncy hammer or the bomb shield. So click the video on screen to see what your favorite fuse says about you.